Okay, so I have some new code up on the screen that has a new keyword that we have not yet introduced in this class called else. So take a stab as to what you think will happen if we run this code. Let's take a look at it for a moment, and what do you think will happen?
Rupert is greater.
What's that?
I would say it'll either. So if Rupert is greater than 10,
Mm-hmm.
it would print 1.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it would print 2.
Mm-hmm. So in this case, is Rupert greater than 10?
No.
So it'll print 2.
Right.
So, yeah, Crystal is correct. So it sort of reads like English. Basically, if this condition is true, then do this. Else, meaning otherwise, do that. So if Rupert is greater than 10, then we'll print 1 to the terminal. Else, meaning otherwise, we'll print 2 to the terminal. So since in this case Rupert is not greater than 10, because it's only 7, we end up printing 2 to the terminal. If we'd flip this around and say if Rupert is less than 10, then it will print 1. But it does just one or the other. It either prints 1 or it prints 2. It'll never do both. Yeah.
Would Ruby stop at 3 and not read 5
Yeah.
and 6?
Yeah, good question. So Josh is asking, how does Ruby process this? So yeah, let's go through this line by line. In this example, it processes line 1, processes line 2 to check the condition. Since in this case Rupert is less than 10, it processes line 3. It processes line 4 to check the else, but since the else does not apply, it skips line 5 and then concludes with the end. Totally skips it. If we had a division error in here, wouldn't get triggered because Ruby just skips over that line entirely. And similarly, if I flip this, that if Rupert is greater than 10, then we'd skip line 3 and instead run line 5. Yep, so the same concept of skipping, but now we're introducing like a fork in the road, right? Either do this or do that, just one. And I guess let's just walk through this together, and I'll ask you to help me out. So let's keep track of what Xavier and Zelda is at any given time. So obviously on lines 1 and 2, Xavier starts out as -5, Zelda starts out as 10, okay? So help me out on line 4. If Xavier is less than Zelda, is Xavier less than Zelda?
Yes.
So does line 5 get run? Yes. So Zelda is now the same as Xavier, so that means Zelda is -5, and Xavier's also remains -5. Let's make room. And line 6 also gets run. So Xavier is now +5. So Zelda is -5, and Xavier is 5. Questions about that? Does line 7 get run?
Yes.
It does, because that's the actual else, so Ruby does hit that. What about line 8? Does line 8 get run? Does not. Does line 9 get run? Nope. Does line 10 get run?
Yes.
Yeah. Any questions about that? So we skipped over lines 8 and 9. Because with an if-else, it's always we do one or the other. We always do one or the other. We never do 0 and we never do both. It's always going to be this or that. Okay. Line 11 is blank. Yeah, we run that. Okay. If Xavier is equal to Zelda, so we run that. Is Xavier equal to Zelda? It is not, because Zelda is -5, Xavier is +5. So we skip over lines 13 and 14. We run line 15. Do we run line 16? Yes. Because if we didn't run this fork in the road, that means we have to run the other one. So else, if I were to ask you in English, what does this else mean? The answer is, this else means that Xavier is not equal to Zelda. That's sort of the logical equivalent. So on line 12, we say if Xavier is Zelda, do this. Else, meaning the other possibility, which is that Xavier is not equal to Zelda, then do that. And personally, a lot of programmers do not do this. I've never seen it brought down or published as a best practice, but I think it should be. If I ever have an else in my code, I always put a comment and I spell out what it means to save the next programmer the headache of like doing that back, the logic of flipping it. Right? They have to think in their heads, okay, line 12, Xavier is Zelda, so what else if it's not? If Xavier is not Zelda. So I just spell it out. I say, if Xavier is not Zelda. No one has ever done me that favor by putting that in their code, but I at least do that for others. Can the other developer figure it out without my comment? Yes, but they have to think a little bit. And if I can save them from thinking, then that's cool. Okay, so does line 16 get run?
Yes.
It does, because Xavier is not Zelda. Xavier, again, is Zelda's -5 and Xavier is 5. So Zelda now is what? It's 5. Sorry for bringing in negative numbers here. That's annoying. I know. Zelda is now 5. Xavier is still 5. And what is Xavier now? Xavier is now -5, right. So Zelda still 5, but now Xavier becomes -5. Do we run line 18? Yeah. Okay, we're almost done. Line 19 is blank. Yeah, we run it. Line 20. If Xavier is greater than Zelda, do we run that line? What about the line itself? We run the line itself. Is Xavier greater than Zelda? No. It's 10 less than Zelda, right? So do we run lines 21, 22, and 23? We do not. Ruby skips over them. We run line 24. How would you say line 24 in English? It's a little tricky. If Xavier is not greater than Zelda. Great. Do we run line 25?
Yes.
So Zelda is now 2. Xavier is still -5. Line 26, we run that? We do, because we're still in this else condition. So if we run line 25, it means we also run line 26. Zelda is still 2, and what is Xavier now? It's -4, yeah. Again, sorry about the negative number business. But yeah, when you add 1 to a negative number, it just decreases like that. Okay, and we run line 27, because that is the end.